are known as an intellectual, highly moral, down to earth person and a talented, well known cancer surgeon who is simple and not flashy. It's an exception in today's times. What are the values that have kept you grounded? What does a typical day look like in your day to day work and schedule? Also, you are known to be a meticulous planner and you believe in perfect execution of those plans. Earlier on in life, you were spontaneous and doing things on the go as they came. So, how did this change come about? You are an avid trekker, a voracious reader, a photographer. You have photographed, I think, about 2,800 bird species. You are a movie enthusiast, sports fanatic. You are heavily into adventure sports, and you were a boxing champion. You have also done triathlons. So, how have you been able to keep up with such an active lifestyle while relentlessly working 12 to 14 hours a day? How did you come out of the jolt of your bypass and how do you handle day to day stress? And one more would be you have donned multiple hats over the years, that of a successful renowned doctor, entrepreneur, medical director, a mentor, a leader. So, which hat or role did you enjoy the most and why? And two other things would be about your family. So, like in the early days when you were busy building so many things, so how did they support you, or were they your strong support system, and how did it impact your family life when starting out? And lastly, about your visits to countries like Japan, Israel, New Zealand, and New Zealand, USA, Germany. So, what did you learn about the medical profession from there? And also, one more thing I would like to add here, like I hold Japan close to my heart for varied reasons. What was your experience of working and living in that country, and what did it teach you?
So there is a lot on my plate now. So we'll go step by step, I think. So I generally work, I would say, now I would say 12 hours a day. Previously I would say 16 hours a day, maybe even 18 hours a day. I have worked when I was young consecutively 48 hours, 72 hours at a time without sleeping. But those were the young days when things have to be built up from the scratch. So there was a responsibility and there was also a risk. And with this responsibility and risk, I had no choice but to work hard, because I am not the type of person that if it did not succeed would dissociate myself from the failure. Okay, so we have many now large industrialists who are successful even though their industries have failed, and we are trying to seek their extradition from various countries. So I am not that type of person. If the organization have failed, I would have failed type of person, that is me. So I actually worked like in Tata Memorial Hospital without a break for many years altogether. All 365 days only on work. I even lost my appetite, my concentration on exercise and my hobbies. And at that time it was demand of that work or pressure of the work that was there. And I started in 1990, so 2006, that is 16 years into my work, I had angina, which is chest pain, and discovered that I had 4 or 5 blocks in my coronaries. It was not a great shock to me because, as I said, that I was working under good amount of pressure for a very long time. I would say from 1986 to 2006, 20 years I had not taken a holiday. So that's a very long time for anybody to work for a length of time. And I probably felt after getting that, not jolt I would say, because if you are operating on others, there is no reason why you should get jolt when somebody operates on you. So my angiography was done on 6th of November. By 12th of November, I underwent surgery. So it did not take great deal of time for me to come to a conclusion, get it done, get it going. We got it done in Deenanath only, I quickly got out of the hospital, I think on 5th day. By 14th day I was driving secretly without telling anybody in my family about it. Okay, and by 3rd week I started operating. So on 12th of November I got operated. By December 1st week I had started doing my first surgeries. So I am not the one to kind of hang up my boots or cry about what has happened. But I thought about it. And I thought about what is going wrong in my schedule or in my work, because as such I was exercising, I was running, and there was a gym in the hospital. Deenanath has got a very sophisticated gym, probably one of the best in the city. So I was doing exercise, I was not doing that, but I was not giving any time for my happiness. I was doing only time for my, I would not say achievement, but for my dream. My dream was to raise a successful institute which would open doors for many doctors to do the medicine right way. But that had taken a toll on my personal time, which should have been my solo time, not related to the society, not related to even my family, which I lost in those 20 years. So I gained back on that time, and I made myself more efficient. So now my typical day is I work 12 hours a day, out of which 10 hours would go in medicine, means I do around 120 to 130 surgeries a month. Most 90% of them are cancer surgeries. So I do 6 to 8 surgeries every day, start around 8 o'clock in the morning, by 5:30 they get over. That was one of the reasons why I got delayed for this interview. And then I take a round, and then I have 1 hour of yoga, oblique gymnasium, 3 days yoga, 3 days gymnasium. I play tennis 2 days a week now, which is at night 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. And I have improved upon my diet, I have improved upon my hobbies. Other than this schedule of exercising and tennis and diet improvement, I take 7 days holiday every month of work for last almost like 2009 onwards. So about last 14-15 years now, I am taking 7 days off every month. In those 7 days, I travel to places where there is no mobile network, there is no Wi-Fi, hospital cannot contact me, even Mangeshkar family most of the times cannot contact me, and I am on my own doing something which I like, which could be mountaineering. Means I have done good amount of trekking and mountaineering, and I do 2 Himalayan oblique such treks across the world. So I have done Mont Blanc trek, which is in France. I have done Andes trek, which is near Machu Picchu in Peru. I have done treks in Nepal. I have done treks in Ladakh. I have done treks in Uttarakhand. I go to such places where there is nothing else, and I go for trekking. I have climbed mountains which do not require technical climbing. So I go up to 22,000 feet, and regular expeditions, but up to 22,000 feet, where you don't need ice axe and you don't kind of likely to die in the expedition, because I now cannot get trained in mountaineering. No, it's not my age also. Maybe I would have done in younger age. I go for scuba diving once or twice a year, and I kind of enjoy going for scuba, seeing all the fish around. If there are 13,000 species of bird in the world, there are 25,000 species of fish. So fish life and variety and colors are more than bird varieties and colors. And to me, both the fish and the birds are the last signs that God has left on this earth. Because if you have to believe God, just see birds and just see fish, and you would probably start believing that there is no evolution in this. It is some kind of divine intervention to get such wonderful creatures of such wonderful variety into such wonderful world. And I think that has given me a great joy over past 13-14 years. Now bypass is now 17 years old now. So in those 17 years I have done everything that I did not do before. I had not done so much trekking before, I had not done triathlons before, I had not done scuba diving before, I had not done skydiving before. So I had not done many things which are useless in a way in the world as far as the rest of the world is concerned, but are very important to yourself in terms of your psyche and your mentality. And then I found joy in these things, and I can recognize most of the birds in this country, in India at least, my birding outside India is for fun. But in India, I am a serious birder, and out of the 1300 or so odd species in Indian birds, I have now finished 1100. And there would be probably less than 100 people in the country who have done this. And I will sure next 3-4 years I would finish, because I really spend time, money and effort on this. So this has changed me in a way of seeking happiness in a stressed out kind of situation that we were talking about. And this stress is actually not psychological stress, it's a time stress. And I spend only 1 hour a day for management. I don't spend much time on management. As I told you, I really believe in decentralization. So I don't go to any department and unnecessarily take their meetings or some stupid things. But I am a firefighting person in this hospital. So any departments, when they fight with each other, I have to go, which generally takes 1 hour of 5 days a week. And I am responsible for new projects which come up. So all in all, I don't need more than an hour for the hospital. I need about 10 hours for my own practice. You ask me, I don multiple hats. I'm a teacher now. I'm postgraduate teacher for almost 30 years now. I have not calculated, but more than 30-40 students must have passed out as surgeons or cancer surgeons with me as my teacher. So I'm continuing legacy of Mrs. Meru Mehta in my own small way. But out of the hospital, out of my hobbies, out of my teachership, out of my everything in the society, my most important hat or what I like most is my practice. Many people advise me that now you are such a successful hospital person, why don't you stop your practice? I would any day give up everything else and continue with my practice. If I am given a choice, continue your practice or continue hospital, I would say my practice, because that has kept me grounded, related to my patients throughout my life. So if there is anything important in 24 hours of my life other than my family, is my practice, and then the hospital and everything else comes after that. That has never changed in my life. I am always accessible to my patients, and I always operate on my patients. I don't allow somebody else to do ghost practice. In Deenanath, no subcontracting of practice is allowed. So it cannot happen that I am sitting here and somebody else is operating, is not allowed. I finish my list and then only I go for the departmental meeting or I go for whatever else that I am doing. And it's an important part of my person. And one of the things, how a person is made is also dependent on the exposure you get. Because I was exposed to Meru Mehta and Tata Memorial Hospital, I worked like a crazy person. So it was related to my exposure. I got something from them. I tried to give the same something back to the society. But when I traveled all over the world for training, I had a childhood dream. Every person has a childhood dream. So when I was reading about Second World War in the school and how these countries came out of the World War, who won the World War, I had a dream of visiting and working in 4 countries. One of them was Japan, one was Israel, third was Germany, and 4 was United States. All 4 had different reasons. The reason for Israel was obviously absolutely out of Second World War ashes, and the Japan was similar, out of Second World War ashes after the atomic bomb, Tokyo being completely bombed out of existence. You must have read Sony story by Akio Mori that Sony was completely bombed, zero asset at the end of Second World War, and he raised the Sony company that is today right from the ashes of this company. So I always felt that I must work in Japan, I must work in Israel, I must work in Germany, because after Hitler, the German confidence as well as finances, both were completely ruined. German people forever felt guilty about their role in the Second World War. So I said, and I always liked German people as such, as a race. So I said I must learn from them, and US of course is the new superpower in the current powers that we have seen. So I went to all these 4 places. I was fortunate also that I got fellowships, some small employments to learn and earn over there, because I could not afford on my own, because I have no family background of somebody paying for my education. So with the sale, like I was in Japan, I was getting paid for working in Japan. I stayed there for 5 to 6 months in a university called Kurume University in the south of Japan. And that I think gave me great, each country gave me something really unique. Japan was a country where I think my work was also laziness. I thought that I am working overtime. I saw that every person was Japan was working more than I could work. So they have come out of Second World War ashes out of only one single factor, sheer hard work. They work like crazy. If I thought I was working a great deal in Tata Memorial Hospital, I was humbled in Japan. I had never seen anybody. Also, the organization of the society was something extraordinary in Japan, which is one of the few things I tried to bring in Deenanath Hospital. That you have an organized society, not a disorganized kind of anarchist kind of society. So, if I went there for esophageal cancer, which is one of my important specialties. So, for esophageal cancer, only 5 centers in Japan are allowed to operate. So, any person who can do surgery cannot do surgery in Japan. He has to refer to these 5 centers in Japan. So, these 5 centers are the top esophageal cancer centers in Japan, giving the best service, which currently now the world has started believing. Now we call them high volume centers. High volume center means everybody doing small things. So, some people do the best thing every day for rest of their lives. So, Japan was like that. And the society was so well organized and so punctual, it changed me. When I went, I was used to travel by the local train in Japan. So I used to ask them, where is Kurume, when should I get down? They used to say 7:17. 7:17 means don't look at the station, don't look at the board, don't be anxious to get out. Just 7:17 and you get out. The moment it was 7:17, the train would stop, the doors would open and you just go out. And never in my 5-6 months it has failed. Never. Once I travelled from Tokyo to Fukuoka, which is a city, distances like Mumbai, Delhi, and from Mumbai to Pune, so Fukuoka to Kurume. And the difference between the two train times was 10 minutes. So I said that, my God, I am going from Delhi to Mumbai and changing a train in 10 minutes, changing the platform, changing the train in 10 minutes to catch to Kurume. They said, doctor, don't worry. So I said, why I should not worry? He said that if it is late by more than 5 minutes, you will get a full refund on the station by the ticket checker in the data compartment. You don't have to ask for refund. It was a great shock to me. We consider in India the laxity of time as our birthright. In Japan, punctuality, organization of society, dedication to work, is no wonder that it has become a developed country in no time. And one of the things which I learnt when I went there, two other things. One was that in 1947 Japan was 100% literate. Even in 2022 we are not literate. And in Japan, literacy means minimum 12th standard, means joining the college. Not 4th standard and 7th standard, able to sign is not literacy in Japan. So minimum 12th standard in 1947. I think as a country we are still far behind. And the other thing that any tap water in Japan is potable unless proven otherwise. Any tap water, toilet tap, tap on the farm, tap on the mountain, anywhere, if there is a tap, it is potable water, free of bacteria. I don't think we are anywhere near it. So Japan was it was like a head blow to me as to what can happen. The whole journey in person's life is what is happening and what can happen. That's my opinion. It's a philosophical thing. What is happening is what is happening around you, and what can happen is every person is an idealist in the end. He thinks what is the best that can happen. And I saw one country where the best can happen. So it was a great revelation to me working in Japan. In Israel, it was a different thing. I had read a lot about Second World War, about books about Jews. So I wanted to see like what they are made up of. And I went to learn laparoscopy in Israel. So like earn and learn again. I got paid for the laparoscopy training and I was working in the hospital as a resident doctor or a fellow doctor. I was a senior doctor by that time. They used to take me out even for their private surgeries and pay me also. But at the same time I was learning about laparoscopy and more importantly about Israel. And a country which, one of the sentences I said which happened in 92. that if nobody is willing to help me in this city, I must help myself, comes from Israel. There is a museum called Yad Vashaim in Jerusalem, and this museum, by the time you finish the museum, everybody in the world is crying. Everybody. I have not seen anybody, that I was there once or twice, not crying coming out of the museum. And the last statement when you come out of the museum is that when Adolf Hitler attacked the Jews and was doing mass genocide, the whole world was watching on the sidelines. We realized our most important lesson in life: if we don't help ourselves, no one else will. It was somebody can read this statement and walk forward. I was hit by that statement. I said that if I don't help myself, no one else ever will. That means all your problems in life, any problem, imagine any problem, if you have to solve it, the first step is to help yourself. If you don't solve it, no one else is going to help you. So all the help is always kind of, you go 2 steps and 1 step of help will come. So that I learned from Israel. From United States, it was a mind-boggling experience again for me. I was learning, working over there, earning some small amount of money. But the great thing was the magnitude of vision. Right from your house, to your car, to your clothes, to your shoes, any idea you have, United States magnifies it by 10 times. And it was, for me, for a young person, young doctor, even a hospital person who runs the hospital, like Deenanath has a land which is 6 acres. Now 6 acres in India is considered as lot of land. Americans would go crazy laughing. They would say 6 acres would not house even our resident quarters. So I went to Cleveland Clinic and I talked to them about met the chairman of Cleveland Clinic, which is one of the largest hospitals in the United States. I met the chairman and I asked him about the history. And this hospital started as a small clinic. They purchased 144 acres land in the heart of Cleveland through their own hard work. 144 acres of land. They had a fire in 1933-34 and it killed around 100 to 200 people, and they were paying out compensations for next 20 years. The city of Cleveland raised a fund for them to pay back for this compensation, which they kept in a deposit and refunded this fund to the city after paying back the entire city compensation. And today in heart surgery, in many surgeries, it is number 1 clinic in America. So it was electrifying for me too. I went to a Mormon church in Salt Lake City where I saw an indoor auditorium of 25,000 people. Indoor auditorium. So now you can understand where these crazy ideas of 42,000 seated numbered people come from. So there is an indoor auditorium of 25,000 people in Salt Lake City. So I said, it looks like a spaceship. So my idea about auditorium went for a toss when I saw. So many things in America is a country which challenges your imagination. Imagine anything and America will beat you to it. My challenge. Anything you imagine moon travel, America will beat you to it. So for me, going to Walmart, crossing the airport, traveling in an American train, anything in America was education for me. And for this hospital, many systems in this hospital are not picked up from Japan or Israel or America or Germany, but many ideas are picked up, how we go about our work. So electronic doors, fingerprint sensors, cameras for monitoring, hundreds of things in this hospital which are related to such imagining future of the probably profession of the country. So I would say that, and Germany, of course, Germany again, extremely hardworking people, very intelligent. I have not seen in all these countries that I have travelled more evolved people than German people. Means in terms of maturity, thinking, knowledge of history, knowledge of their own shortcomings in the Second World War, knowledge of why they helped Hitler, everything. You can discuss any subject with them. And they are really evolved and mature people. I had great learning as persons from Germany. And of course, German institutions like Siemens and BMW and we have a collaboration with 2 cities in Germany. Deenanath. One was with Bremen, Pune Bremen sister city. So lot of our nurses are trained in Bremen. I have been to Bremen good number of times. I have worked for small amount of time in Bremen. We have also a collaboration between Deenanath and Wolfsburg Hospital. Now this Wolfsburg is the headquarter of Volkswagen. So I had visited Volkswagen factory, Volkswagen football matches, Volkswagen philosophy and this hospital in Wolfsburg. So I have learnt a good amount of deal from them about German intelligence, German methodicalness. Why Germany was such a great force in Second World War was because of their mad method. Everything they do, there is a method to madness. So it's a great deal to learn from them, and then you get some of these things over here. One of the reasons why I did not take senior, very experienced surgeons in Deenanath was because there is no discipline and working together as a team in senior people. They are, their own dominance is there. So what happened in young with doctors in Deenanath, we started this paperless hospital system. Now paperless hospital means Deenanath entirely outpatient, inpatient, everything works on computer. Now the doctors were very resistant to this idea. As to I come to the OPD, there is no case paper, I can't write, I can't sign. They said that we will not do it. I said you have to do it, you are young, you have no choice. Because they were young and because they had no choice, the entire hospital became paperless probably in a year's time. It took 1 year. Other hospitals will never become in 100 years also, because unless the senior doctors will retire, the paperless will never come. Until the senior doctors retire, the juniors become senior. So they again have already working on the paper. So these are the things that you pick up from the world, you get them in your own life, in your own organization. So I personally, I benefited a lot from visiting. I have visited 46 countries. I travel a lot. As I said, I travel for many things. I get pick up good things from everywhere. But these 4 were my childhood dreams. I had decided when I was in 10th standard that I will learn. I did not know I will be a doctor. But I had decided that I will work in these 4 countries. Even I was an engineer, I would have gone to these 4 countries. Whatever happened, I would have been there. But I got and I had great experiences to share and to come back. So, one of the unique things about Deenanath is getting good ideas from all, and it's not just me, all our doctors who are trained all over the world, everybody. So many of these doctors bring good things and we are always open to picking up these good things. We never say no to a good idea. And for that my now not in this office, this is a new office, but in the old office the saying on the behind my wall was, good is an enemy of better. What is the saying? Good is an enemy of better. The moment you start that you are good, you are a good hospital, you are enemy of a better hospital. Because you stop believing that there could be something better in your life. And this, so the excellence also is a never ending process, which I learned from these countries, because I keep on, I personally go once in every 2 years to work somewhere abroad for, now I can't go for 6 months and 4 months, but I go for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, work there and come back. I don't go to any conferences. I have never learnt much in my life from conferences in medicine. But from working in a Western hospital, especially a hospital which is ahead of you, has taught me a lot. I go do this in 15 days every 2 years, and reading also I continue. So I think I have covered